to solve this problem first. Because I'm assuming that even today with the growth in assessed value, fundamentally the city does not want to levy an ad valorem tax to pay the 2015 refunding bonds.
We don't want to, I'm sure we don't, but our tax rate is amongst the lowest in the state, and I think it's, the tax rate increase is probably somewhat for future development.
I only raise that because the governing body has to make the, and I think Victor would tell me, if the city would say,
But in one particular year, we actually lowered it, which was
I would just say this.
a bad idea.
If the city was willing to actually step up to pay some portion of this debt service, Victor would shorten the debt and you'd have less loss, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's a business decision that, I sit in these rooms pretty much every week, and so I know they're tough decisions, but I think when you quantify the loss that you're going to see, you know, I would suggest to you that maybe reducing that loss and would be in everyone's best interest. And so if you shorten it 5 years and move to, hey, the city is going to have some pennies to solve this problem, I mean, I can only give advice, but you guys, I mean, that I think would save hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you know, preferably the shorter amount of time that you go out for the new term, the 2015, you know, just like anything else, like a car or home financing, the shorter you have that debt out, the better interest rate you're going to get, the better, lower interest cost you're going to pay over the life of that financing. And so, you know, obviously y'all would make the decision, but, you know, I agree with Jeff is that, you know, if we could shorten it as much as we can, and even if that's, you know, participation from the city or something to help out temporarily, then that might benefit everybody overall, but, you know, I don't vote.
So the best case scenario would be how many years, and the city contributing, how many years would it be? 15, 20?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about here in the last slide, is, let's jump to that.
This slide won't make last slide, huh?
This is just the term sheet. This is just the summary of the transaction, the way it says. There's a lot to be determined because we don't know how long we're going to take the new debt, and so. But this is just the makeup. You know, based off of the timeline, we could enter the market as early as May 13th, but you know, we could always delay that if necessary. If you all need some more time to think about the options. And so here we're just trying to get, again, just taking away from the workshop discussions that we had. I think there some folks in the community wanted to try to do this sooner rather than later because the interest rate environment was very attractive, which fortunately it still is. But here, the last page is really, you know, we can't help you as financial advisors, bond attorneys, in like saying what your sales taxes are because we're not economic development people, we're not sales tax people. And so what you need to base your decision on is, you know, the sales tax collection. I know we've had the highest one here recently for the city at 3.2 million, but, you know, do you all see that continuing? Do you see that growing? Do you see that going down, staying the same? You know, you all would better have a better handle on what to plan on for those sales tax collections, because that's going to kind of determine, you know, how far we want to take this debt. And then number two, you know, what's the term? And we're going to rerun some additional terms there if you want to reduce any type of city participation for the debt. But like Jeff said, you know, the shorter we take it, yeah, there might have to be some city participation, but the better interest costs that the community is going to have and lower interest costs on this restructuring. Yeah.
You'll be able to provide all the basic scenarios?
Yes, yeah. And so really, and the really biggest thing is, you know, really the sales tax. You all think it's, because in 2008, the thought was that, you know, it was going to continue to grow, you know, things were happening, and then all of a sudden, you know, we had the financial crisis hit us, and that's when you saw the stagnation there, when we went, the state and the country went into recession. You know, we can't project what's gonna happen, but, what kind of sales tax collection and revenues do you all wanna use to, project and utilize in the model?
Connie, real quick, have you seen a change just in the first 6 months that are in the book compared to last year?
Yes, sales tax have been fluctuating a lot. They've been going up and down since October.
But just like on a year-to-date from October to March, in the 6 months, where are we at, compared to, if you can, if you have those numbers from year-to-date for 2014? Because I think this should be the first year we could really tell, because there has been a change in the activity in the area with the slowing and the Eagle Forward.
Just done last night, just ended lunch breaks.
Yeah. Eat the Chinese place 4 times a week. That's just lunch. That's just lunch.
I can tell you that from October till now, the sales tax have increased from last year to this year, 11,372.
Which is
What,
positive.
what percentage is that?
It's 5.19%.
It's positive.
Yes,
It's good.
but it month to month, it's been going up and down.
So I would say it's safe to say it's probably gonna level up, because when you look at your chart, Victor, just on the 4B, I mean, increased over 100% in 6 years, but I don't see that same increase for the
No.
next 6 years.
No, I wouldn't
Yeah,
plan
I
on
think
that.
it would level out from that point.
Mhm.
It actually doubled in the 6,
Yeah, it did,
yeah,
yeah.
it doubled in the 6th year.
Yeah, certainly I would not recommend any, drastic increase, projected annual increase. I think at the most, you probably just want to say you might stay the same, but even that,
So I think you have to answer your question, I mean, that you use 2014, I guess, as a measuring stick, right? I mean,
and just assume it's going to stay there.
yeah, just worst case scenario, that it stays there.
We're
Yeah, it's good, it's
going to be
conservative.
more conservative than.
Yeah.
Last year, there was an increase of 15% from prior year to last year.
And I know going from the 4B meeting the other night, they're working with a retail coach coming in to help them with retail sales and everything, so that'll help improvement or,
Did you add hotel? Did you add any hotels?
Yes.
How many?
There's,
We
last
now-
year we did.
We now
How
have
many
to
are
do-
we know now, or how many we had?
How many have we added since
Near
the beginning of Eagle Ford College?
That's fantastic. So the hot tax are also.
Especially like Luca, Holiday Inn.
Super Great.
Holiday.
We have a total of 11 hotels now.
Love hotels.
Yes, and sometime very soon, I believe in May, the council approved for us to have a hotel motel audit and a sales tax audit. He's ready to come back to you all to have a report of where we are, so maybe some substantial, but I'm not hearing the consensus as I'm sitting over here making notes. Are you looking at 15, 20, 25 years in reference to this debt, and how much is the city willing to budget?
Without city contribution, I would say you'd have to, extend it to the 25.
Okay, and then if you were thinking about a city contribution, you would like to keep it down to?
Well, we don't know what the payment's gonna be. I think we need to
But
see.
the city contribution is mainly just for the security anyways.
We're already contributing monthly, so.
Yeah.
Doing it now.
That's right.
For the operations.
And I think if we did 25, I mean, from the original date, I mean, it would add 10 years to the life of the
But
loan.
we can also contribute to the debt by putting a certain amount of money that you want to contribute to it on the formula for the property tax. And that's what will be like a security to these bonds. So we calculated on the tax rate, and that will help us increase the tax rate, property tax rate.
The number goes up for the property
Yes.
taxes anyway.
If the debt goes up, the property tax rate goes up.
It won't go up in the rate, but it'll go up in the value.
Yes.
The real important part about that, is that part of it is not subject to rollback.
Right.
So the pennies you put on
That,
debt isn't subject to rollback. Now, I know no one wants to raise taxes, but I mean, I say, my advice would be to look at some scenarios where, on a moving forward basis, the city looks at, because if you could shave 5 years off the 2015 refunding lines, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, we're running those numbers just to show you, okay, if we shorten it 5 years, how much you're gonna save? If we extend it 10 years, how much is it gonna cost us a little bit more? And so, we could do that again in another workshop setting, because the timetable events, that was just, us kind of listening during the workshop about trying to do this as soon as possible and getting that audit done as soon as possible with locking interest rates. But I think even still, interest rates right now are secondary to, how do we want to package and structure this? And, is the city wanting to participate to the INS tax rate to shorten the debt? And so, the timetable that was shown here, that's not fixed. That was just something that, just based off of starting off with 2 days meeting. So we could, come back to another workshop and show the numbers again, because it's a big
We
decision.
don't have
So,
accurate numbers yet either.
I'm sorry?
We don't have accurate numbers on.
Yeah.
ours.
Mhm.
So what, the consensus, like looking at 20 versus 25?
And you could give us a comparison with the city putting in and the city not putting in?
Yes.
With the 4B.
Not put it in.
Sure, before, actually.
Yeah, 'cause we still like it.
Help me, I'm a little confused. How's the 4A, but 4B going to be involved?
Well, they're not
They're
involved
not-
now,
they're not.
Okay, I just want to make sure that.
but technically the center is a 4B project.
Because the 4B is comparatively a wash in cash, right? I mean, do they have any debt other than the?
They have the CO.
Little part of this 2008 CO.
Yeah, from my understanding, I didn't assist them with it, but I think they have a couple financings that they did outside of the CO 2008.
But there's one.
Mhm, yeah.
Are still not standing? How much,
I don't know.
From 2000.
Would it be an audit? Did that be an audit?
Yes.
Yeah, here's their, right now, the public information is the 2008, is what the 4B is participating in the far right there, so that's about 115 to 125,000 per year, but I think they have like some direct bank loans that don't show up in the public
It should be under 200.
per year. Yeah.
including the debt service?
I think it's been on land purchases that they have.
And they're generating 800,000?
Is that in the books, Connie?
Yeah, the
Yes,
808 that we
it's on
saw on
the
the
audit.
slide, that's what they're generating.
Is there a fund somewhere that has a lot of money in it?
Just their bank account.
The 4B's bank account?
Mhm.
And what's the magnitude? That's what I'm saying, the CAFR shows they have a lot of money.
I think it's 4.5.
Well, Connie has the book there.
You shouldn't have to scratch your head too much to find it, I mean, it's there.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just,
Yeah.
I know the 4B board, I know wants to protect their money, but.
Connie, do you have that out there?
I'm looking.
It's the city's money.
Exactly, we're all one
Yeah.
team, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
We have to think that way and work that way.
Exactly.
Do you have the POS?
I got the current, so I brought my copy. Will that help you?
I have, they have copies, they all have copies of this comments.
Oh, is it?
Yes, they're all there.
Changes on one.
Oh, okay.
I look at
You don't have the absorbent one on today? Are we done?
No.
Fulbright hasn't ever been. What's the meat of it?
No, the other big packet is,
No, that's the
game on?
It's a game board corporation, that's 2010. Refunding, that's what it is.
Part of this one?
That's
And
part
then
of
they
it.
don't have anymore. See, this is the cities, this is for the police car. This is for, this is their financing. This is for me. So it's really, the energy fee, which is,
That's what it goes to.
So there's no additional limits?
There's not-
That's
yeah.
what they're asking.
there's
Yeah,
no
like,
additional.
aside from this, do they have other?
No, I don't think so. That's it.
You said you-
I saw that, but I don't think so.
Okay. Because that's what
But it's not in here, so September 30th, they have not been. I don't know if they finished it now.
I got one.
Wow.
That's,
Yeah.
so, it's- yeah, that's what they're
As
asking.
of September 30th, they didn't have any additional debt. I do know that they were going to get into purchasing some land, but I don't know what happened after October 1st. It's not in the book.
What's that?
They just have,
They only have
this,
this.
They
this.
decided by some land.
Mr. Baker was talking about buying some land, but I don't know what that went about.
The note that they have for the roads at the,
The $1 million?
yeah,
But they got that out of the.
Cash?
Yes. They got that out of fund balance.
We getting off the agenda then?
cash, no.
I said, are we getting off the agenda?
So, to stay on the agenda, we're looking at scenarios for 20 and 25 years as he brings back his numbers, some with city contribution and some all sales tax. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. And then, as a matter of staying on the agenda, and speaking of the agenda, there's some things we need to do in reference to having the services for Mr. Hugo from Frost Bank and Jeff there to, from Fulbright to actually engage them. And so those things need to be on the agenda for the next meeting so that we actually can officially engage their services. Is there any objection to that being on the agenda? Have consensus? Okay, so then we'll move those things
Because I
Uh-huh.
think
forward.
we should appropriately retain them, so there's no question about that.
So then they will actually be officially your representatives when we meet again. I won't have to come back with a meeting date, a workshop date I'll have on the agenda for Thursday so that we can officially do that. Would you need them to attend to make a presentation to you again at the meeting?
Unless we have some numbers, Victor, again.
We,
Yeah,
We can do the workshop.
yeah, I think the workshop probably be a better setting for the numbers, just so we could focus a little bit more time on it. If that's okay, I mean, that's just a suggestion.
Mr. Turner, I apologize, I have a conflict on the 23rd is when your meeting is to
Yeah,
hire
you
us.
can't meet
Yes,
Jeff, I don't think,
Oh, I wish I wasn't.
I don't think we need you to be here.
Okay, okay, but I'll give Ms. Turner, if it's okay, the agenda language to hire us, Victor, hire you. You'll send your contracts to Lou, I'll send my engagement, I'll have 3 engagements, one for each of the USDA deals and one for the refunding. And we're gonna do that on the 23rd, right?
Yes.
And then we're gonna come back at a subsequent workshop and have Victor lay out the plan of financing, you can make
And
decisions.
we'll have that on the 23rd, we'll set that agenda date, that workshop date.
But I don't think, Victor, based on what you wanna do, we're gonna delay this very much because we're gonna be working simultaneously.
Yes.
So while we might, the parameter, we're funding bond on the 23rd, we can do it quickly
Yeah.
thereafter. And kind of keep it straight.
Yeah.
So we'll have Mr. Turner look at his schedule on when he's available for our non-city council meeting to give us some potential dates that we can look at and let you all know potential dates. And we'll have those dates for you by the 23rd so that we can talk about potential meeting dates so that we can make those kind of things and set those parameters. And if I can remember, Ms. Hughes said those 4 important parameters we need to be able to set.
And the 4 are not to exceed principal amount. The second is not to exceed term. Like I said, just for example, just to make my point, a parameter means you can't exceed it. So we could say, not to exceed 25 years and come back in and actually sell 20 or 15. You just can't go
Beyond.
You can't go beyond. So not to exceed principal amount, not to exceed term, not to exceed interest rate, which normally people put in 5 or 6%, knowing full well it's going to be
Market.
3. The hard part here, we have to get our hands around. And it's going to have to be public, not to exceed what's the loss going to be, and that's going to be millions of dollars.
And so he should be able to calculate those losses for you so that you can see it based on the scenarios, and then we can make those decisions, set the parameters, and then we can move forward and make city council meetings.
I mean, from the 2010, it's a false loss, because I mean, we knew that was never gonna be accomplished.
Exactly. Except I think that's,
5 years, but I mean,
Yeah, that's a little bit painful.
yeah, the real loss is from the 2010 note, from the original 20-year.
And then your call date, one of the other parameters, right?
no, I don't need that.
Yeah, the other one's just a headline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Victor said it very eloquently. No one envisioned paying the 2010 bonds on that schedule, because you didn't pay interest. It was capital appreciation bonds, so you weren't even paying interest timely on it, right? So everyone knew that we had a very difficult situation. We did something to access the public market. We did that successfully and got a rating accordingly for that. And now it's come back, and we knew all along that this is what we're coming back to make our decision, and we're making it. So, no one envisioned payment off the 2010 in that short time, so. And the good news is, I guess I said here, is if we were having this discussion at 28, 29, it's much better answer when your sales tax is now $3.2 million. That's exactly what we thought would happen back in 2007.
Well, plus the fact, I don't know if you've got the colloquy, but there is a sales tax audit in the making, a hot tax audit in the making, and those usually don't do anything but
Increase the sales tax.
and I think that's the first ever sales tax audit we've had.
Like I said, it's almost people in my firm, we're honored to be back. Look forward to working with you and come up with solutions to it.
We done?
But the only one other thing I want to.
Anybody else have any questions? Lou?
I just want to make one other comment about Mr. Kuhn is talking about bringing back next week, Madam Manager. And that is, he's talking about 3 contracts or 1 contract or 3 components, however he's going to package it. So we've got the USDA loan that he'll do, or we're going to ask him to do, or supposed to ask him to do, a single note bond or a single instrument bond,
It'll be 2 revenue bonds,
2 revenue bonds.
one water and 1 sewer, if I
Yeah,
understand.
but initially it was sewer, and then the water would follow. And the reason that's important is the council have some appreciation of that as it fits with the rest of this, is the USDA loan is about 6 something,
70.
7,400,000.
7,400,000 with the balance to be grant for a total of 9,394.
9,004,000.
Okay.
That is a fantastic grant amount. In fact, it may be the largest grant amount
Yes.
I've ever heard of.
It is.
So that's fantastic.
Let's give it a round of applause, I'm sorry.
We worked very hard on it.
So, and the reason I'm bringing it up is just that it relates to overall indebtedness.
If I can, not to be a black cloud here, but have you guys looked at your water and sewer rates?
That's part of what we're doing.
Will
And
they
we're gonna do
support the?
we did a 1 study and we're gonna do a 2nd study.
Okay.
We've done rate increases 3 years in a row.
Because normally when I do this USDA's, I'm one of the few lawyers who likes to do them. I've been doing them for 30 years. Normally on the front end of that is normally rate studies that are rate increases for water and sewer. So
Raul Gonzalez is gonna be, again, our rate analyst.
We did 1 in 2010 and we're gonna do 1 now in 2015.
and assuming that you're going to roll out the
Yes.
2 revenue bonds to the USDA.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I think that
Concludes. Thank you all for being here.